entire product life cycle. And since the really beginning, we really try to for the students to work on a project so they can apply all the theoretical concepts into a practical job that they will do. So they had to work either on creating a new feature from like a existing app or existing product that they would like. So some of them I'm doing like spoiler, for example, like for Netflix or Vivino, and some others they can decide to create a product from scratch, an MVP. And the idea is really to understand all the entire thought process and to apply all the different concepts that we learn during the course. And I think, I don't know if I should explain a bit more or if we can jump into the...
Yeah, let's jump to it. And we'll wait for questions until the last presenter, so we can do it all at once. Yeah.
That sounds great. So if you have the order, like, I don't know who is first.
We had a nice volunteer, Marta, was going to go first. So you can share your screen. It should be fine for you to share now. Okay.
And also before starting the thing, I will, how do you say, motivate everyone to take notes of the other people presentation, and then potentially we will have time after each presentation to have like some feedback. So try to make some notes and remember what comment you want to provide. And that's it, I guess.
Okay, can you see?
Yes.
Okay. Well, hello everyone. My name is Marta and I'm from Barcelona, and currently I live here as well. For the past 10 years, I've been working on positions that connects one way or another to my main domain, which is psychology, most specifically child and young adult psychology. Over the years, I've met and talked to a lot of professionals that are involved in this field, and there seems to be a common issue that everybody seems to face, and that has become more evident now through the situation of COVID-19. And that problem is simple, fast, and productive communication. So for this project, I just thought I'll try to create something that would help solve this issue. So as you can see, this is Therapy, and is a practice management software for specifically for child psychologists and therapists. For the next few minutes, I will just talk a bit about about the problem, the proposed solution. We'll introduce some personas, a little bit of a user journey example, and about how we're going to measure success. So the main problem is miscommunication between, sorry, it's just being a nightmare. Sorry, between adults who are the key members of that child's well-being. So there are a lot of parties involved in this process. And on one side, you have like the professionals who need to schedule meetings and calls, and no one really has time for that. The parents that don't get the time to meet with all of them like separately, and then the children, which normally have to complete tasks that are tedious and papers get misplaced or forgotten. So I did a little of a research, and there are quite a few practice management softwares in the market, but they all seem to involve like online payments, appointment scheduling, notes, document storage, and billing. However, none of them seem to bear in mind that this is a multidisciplinary process, and they don't treat a process as a whole. Just they focus more on like the documentation, I suppose. So the solution that I propose is a product that would like to facilitate the communication between the therapist and all the other key members. This way, the therapist can do the job more efficiently. So instead of worrying about meeting with a teacher, they will be spending more time in the process itself. Facilitate easy and quick communication, and motivate as well the parents and the children at home to collect data, because that data is super valuable. The two personas I want to introduce, one is Lydia. She's a busy mom. She's a lawyer and she owns her own firm. So her goals are basically to save time because she's very busy, keep all documentation in one place, give her son more independence, and improve his motivation on this therapy process. She can get frustrated because she finds it uncomfortable to just carry papers around. The son cannot do the tasks alone. They have a busy household, and information sometimes and papers just get misplaced. Then we have Christina, who is a natural caregiver. She's a psychologist, and her goals are to have all the patients' information in one place and be able to communicate fluently with all the wider members of the team. She gets frustrated sometimes because finds it difficult to compile all the reports that she needs. She spends a lot of time trying to meet with other parties, and the tool she pays for tools, but they don't seem to bear in mind that part of it. We're going to talk about a little bit of the user journey. So you will have landing page, basic landing page, and a login. So it will be like your basic login, but let's say that you want to sign up. You will go into the next screen, and you will choose your relationship with the client, in this case, the child. So if you are, depending on who you are, your layout will be different. And of course, the access of the information as well. See, if you say that you are a psychologist, you will introduce your registration number just to make sure that you are a real therapist. And you will pay for the monthly service. However, if you say that you are a parent, you will get given a case number, for example, from the therapist, and you will have access just to a few actions, but you won't have to pay for the service, of course. So the therapist will have a client database, and when you go to the client private area, you will get like to the client's like news feed per se, with all the news that you're getting, and you will have different actions like notes, share notes, request documents from other people, and upload charts, mainly for parents and children at home. If you are a parent, you will have a very, very simple interface, just to maybe write notes about an incident, for example. The charts, so you can fill them up and share documentation if needed. The way we're gonna measure success, we wanna focus in acquisition and retention because it's a new product. And I just chose a few metrics that I think that could be the main ones. So that would be like daily and monthly active users, the retention rates, monthly recurring revenue because it's a paid service, percentage of paying customers who are inviting other people. And by that, I mean, if a therapist is paying and is inviting parents and other professionals to the wider team, that means that probably they are serious about using the product. And then the Net Promoter Score, maybe send it like once a month to all your loyal customers so they can rate the product. As a final note, just say that because we will deal with personal data, it's super important by law that the company has a very clear privacy policy. In this case, the company will have the privacy policy with the therapists, and then the therapists with the clients that they will do their own. But it has to be very clear. And that will be it. Thank you.
Round of applause, no? So I think it was amazing, and because I didn't do that much great intro, actually Marta did a really good job at showing everything that we were able to do during this course. I really liked the fact that it was super structured, and it really showed like how you launch a product from like the competitive analysis. So this part I really enjoy, Marta, to then defining the persona, and then looking at the user journey. I really like that during the course, they use like some tools like Balsamic or Envision. So here we were able to see like mockups, which was really good for us to understand like what will be the real journey, how like the things will look like. And it's also like very valuable for when you're launching an MVP and you want to maybe do a kind of prototype and get feedback from people just from what they see, what we have seen. So we can already provide you valuable feedback, I think. I really also enjoy like the part of the success metrics, because I know it was something that personally you kind of struggle. So I think it was very good that they were able, during this course, we focus on different type of success metrics and on the R framework, as you mentioned, like activation and retention. And I really like that you try to focus on few of them within the funnel. And then I think it was very good that you bring into the topic of GDPR, which is like super, how do you say, contemporary, and even more in the health field. It's super important. So I think it was very on point to add this topic. So me, I think, yeah, it was amazing because super well structured, really managed to put into place all the different how do you say, frameworks and things that we learned in the course, but in something that was easily understandable and kind of smooth. So that's my feedback, but I will be happy to hear from other people as well.
Thanks, Eduardo.
Cool. Shall we do now or at the end then?
As you prefer. I think maybe now it will be fresher, but as you prefer.
No problem. I have just a few notes here. So Marta, really well done again. I think that was very, as Eduardo said, very well structured. I really like the wireframes. I think that they were very high level and very complete. So really well done on that. I like also that you show who the competition that you were looking at, because this is important for us to have a point of reference. So really well done on that as well. I have just two maybe points here that I think it would improve your presentation, your product overall. That would be the homepage that you are proposing in the beginning. You are saying that you have two customers, right? You have the psychologists and you have the people that are their customers. So my suggestion for you, because most likely the people that will buy your product will be the psychologists, maybe you want to focus more your homepage on that type of persona, and then have an access for the customers of theirs or for the patients to use it. But maybe you can focus more on the product that you want to sell for those psychologists. And another tip is about, since this is a complicated topic that not everybody will know in detail exactly what happens between patient and patient, maybe it would be also cool to use some kind of storyboard or tell us a story of how a person would use your service that would illustrate exactly how your product would work. So maybe put a hypothetical situation of an interaction between a doctor, a psychiatrist, sorry, and client, and that will just illustrate more a little bit the aspects of our app. But overall, really well done.
Thank you. I totally agree. Actually, it just made it like super long, so it was a bit like I had to make a decision. Maybe I should have, but thanks.
Cool. Thank you.
Sorry, can you hear me? Yeah. Yeah, well done, Marta. I really enjoyed the presentation. I found that that there was a need there and that you were solving these needs, which is the most important thing, and how you were thinking about the personas and how you were addressing these needs. I think that the presentation was also really enjoyable and we could see clearly the path. If I will add a tip, will be maybe if I was an investor, I would love to understand how big is this market. So a little bit of market research could be helpful. And for the competitor analysis, I really enjoyed the competitor analysis, but it was not clear what were the customer needs that these competitors were solving and how you were adding additional value. So maybe in a table, it will have been easier for me, like a map where you see all these 4 competitors and what are you doing additionally. But I really enjoyed the presentation. I think it was really, really great.
Thanks. I'll write that down too. Thank you. It's great.
I think jumping on that, I remember I mentioned to Carolina, because I know you like the time is so short, and of course you just mentioned, Marta, that you cannot put everything. So what I mentioned sometime, which is good to do, is put, I don't know if it was to Carolina or Maria actually, but anyway, to put everything, all the slides you think that are interesting and that you would like to share, and then filtering them out and put them in an annex. So then when we come up with a question about, okay, what about like the storytelling or something like that, you're like, oh yeah, actually, and then you can discuss it, or even you can, at the end of presentation, we have like, okay, those are like different topics that I thought about, but because of time restriction, I could not address. So I think it's a good practice to try to already think of the question that will be raised, even if you are conscious that you won't be able to explain everything. Any other feedback before we move to Maria? Okay, if not, Maria, that's your turn. Good luck.
Okay.
Break a leg.
Thank you. Okay, 1 second. Can you see it now? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. You already had a little bit of a spoiler. So that's me. I am doing Netflix and a future extension for it that it's called Netflix Mix and Watch. And it's where the watching experience begins. So a little introduction of what I'm going to talk about. First, we are going to explain a little bit about the problem for the company and for the customer. Then I want to introduce you to the users so you better understand their needs. Then the solution, and finally success. What will we consider to measure if this future extension is successful? So to start, I just want you to stop for a couple of seconds and think on the last time that you watched some streaming content with somebody else. How was it? Was it difficult to find what to watch? Did you find something you both like? How much time did you spend that time trying to decide what to watch? And above all, have somebody in Netflix cheated on you? So the problem for the company. First, we have that 20% of Netflix market share has decreased this year. This is because more than 10 players are entering in the market this year. And our retention rate has decreased on 30% on the last year. If you take a brief look here in the SWOT analysis, I want you to take a special look on these 3 points. As a strength, we already have a good technology. One of our weaknesses is that we have not clear differentiation from competition besides content. And a threat is that we have a strong competition like Amazon, HBO, or Disney+. For the customer, what is happening? We find that watching Netflix with company, the customer is spending 3 more times. I actually did a self-research for Netflix users here in Barcelona. and get deeper into why they are having this experience. I found out that 73% of customers say that finding content to watch with company is unsatisfying, and the rate is of 6 of 10. Why? Because of three main things. One is that they are being unable to find content they both like because of Netflix cheating and with not keeping up with the content view. So who are these customers? Well, I want you to meet Sarah. Sarah, it's 29. She works in marketing and she's in a relationship. Sarah defines herself as I am a romantic comedy lover. Jennifer Aniston and Adam Sandler, here I come. So a quick snapshot of main things about Sarah. She thinks she spends much time searching for a movie or something to watch with her boyfriend Enrique. She feels frustrated after she chooses something and Enrique is not liking it. She sees, for example, in apps, as you can see, she uses Spotify, and she sees that other apps are having these features as sharing content or playlist, and also take a special look. It's true that she likes romantic comedy, but she also likes drama, documentaries, and thrillers. And our second customer, I want you to meet Enrique. Enrique is 32. He's a freelancer photographer and in a relationship with Sarah. So he defines himself as I love documentaries. What a way to see other ways of thinking and living from home. When I'm looking for action, a thriller is the choice. Quick factors here for Enrique. He thinks he has some interest in common with Sarah, but maybe she doesn't listen to him. He feels angry and disappointed when Sarah keeps watching content they started without him. He sees that Sarah gets frustrated when he doesn't like her choices. Should he maybe fake it? And then look, he likes stand-up comedy, but he also likes documentaries, action, thrillers. So he actually has something in common with Sarah, and that's interesting. Our hypothesis is that this future will result in improving the quality of the content the customers watch when Netflixing with somebody else. How will we test it? At first, we will do an A/B test showing the future to 50% of the customers in this market. And what will be the validation? When 20% of these customers completed the action, that will be pairing the accounts and watching 100% of one chapter or movie. Our second hypothesis is that this will result in incrementing the daily active users and reducing the churn rate. We will check if the customers use this feature 2 times in a 2-week period. So when 50% of these customers use it, we will consider our hypothesis valid. Quick things about Sarah's user story is that he wants to find streaming content and discover similar tastes. And as an acceptance criteria, she will need to pair the accounts and to see at least 5 results. For Enrique, he wants to block content and avoid Netflix cheating. And as an acceptance criteria, when he pairs a content and accept to watch it together, he wants that both of the users need to accept to watch the content in order to play. So based on these needs, we figure out a product roadmap that has these 3 future extensions. First, the mix and watch that we're going to explain today. And next steps in our roadmap will be the better together feature and a conversational search to feel closer to the customers. So the solution, we present you Netflix mix and watch. So it's the sharing experience, easy and powerful. For people who struggle to find the best content when Netflixing together, Mix and Watch is the new feature that allows you to discover content you both will enjoy. But Mix, Watch, it sounds like a bit strange. So let me show you how it will work. Can you see all of the tabs in my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so you're watching now how it will look we decided to go mobile first. So it will be Netflix normal interface with the additional options of watching with company. Then it will ask you who wants to share. After you decide, it will give you two options. One is choosing friends from Facebook or scanning the code. If you decide to scan the code, two things can happen. One is that the other user already has a Netflix app, so it will open the app and ask you to pair the accounts, or it will ask you to log in. If you are not a Netflix user, you will have the option to sign in and actually receive no 1 free month, but 2 free months thanks to your partner. Then you can match the accounts and the results will start loading. After this, you will have the best results matches and also different content based on the type of content you're searching. And then you will have just to play and enjoy. So back to our product. What will be considered success? So I decided to guide myself in the R model and basically in three main things in this. First, the acquisition. So we will measure customer conversion rate, ideally of 15% from the referral source mix and match on the first 3 months. That was the referral that I said previously. Then the retention, we will measure it with stickiness. That will be our daily active users per the average session length. And we want to increase by 3% on the customers that specifically use this feature. And for measure referral, the net promoter score increased by 5% on the first quarter. A little bit bonus on the next step, just to get you a little sense of curiosity. So we want to stop the Netflix cheating conversations when you tell your boyfriend or your partner that you Netflix cheating on him. This is a real case. And this will be a feature for truly honest Netflixians. So a quick view, you will select the content, agree on watching, select the better together option and block. But back to our current feature. So the go-to-market strategy has 5 points. First is the emailing with emails such as discover your compatibility with your partner, making it kind more of a game. Then we will have in-app advertising, social media, partnerships, for example, with restaurants or cinemas, Spotify actually, and outside advertising as an expectation campaign that can look something like this, not revealing what the future does, but having that curiosity trigger on the customers. So after this, I just want you to take your popcorn and Netflix together with me. Here you have my contact details. If you have any other questions, you can contact me.
Oh. So I will start again with the feedback and then I will give the floor to everyone else. I really loved it, like just on a design perspective, it was really nice to see all the effort you made by creating like the mock-ups, even like the marketing campaign like you saw with the subway. Well, I don't know if it was in the subway, but let's say it's the subway. That was really cool. So overall, like the first impression, which is important, and the global, like the taste I will remember after is like super good thanks to that. So I think that that's really well paid. And then I like at the beginning that you presented like what we will see, like the different sections. So it was clear we will understand what will be your presentation like. The problem, I really enjoy that you start questioning us about something that probably we already have a feel in our life about Netflix. So it really engage the people who listen to. The one thing regarding the problem, I know you were mentioning like decrease of market share. The only thing I will question is we don't know what is the reason for decrease in market share, and we don't know if it's like directly linked into like this sharing functionality, or if in like this difficulty to find content, right? So but just I think then you kind of explain it, so I think it was still very valid. I love the survey because during the course we really show like the different type in order to get your product out there and to get like feedback. So I think it was very good. As a persona, I think it was very good that you mentioned tools such as Spotify, and you try to do like the parallel with it, saying like, okay, in other tools in their daily life, there is already this type of sharing things. I have it now, it doesn't fit with the thing, but I think maybe you were reading a bit too much. So I think because the presentation, like the content was so good, maybe you were depending a bit too much on it and not, how do you say, a bit abstracting from the slides. Then one for the first test, you mentioned like improving the quality of the sharing, and I don't know how you will quantify the quality. So I don't know if like quality is really like a KPI that you could use, or then you have to really define it, you know, because I don't know how you measure if the quality of what I'm watching is better or not, and how you define what is quality. I love the roadmap vision, because even if you focus on one only feature, you were able to show us like what was the vision for the product. And the only thing I will question again is when we saw the mockups, which were amazing, you were saying like we are starting mobile first, and I'm gonna ask you like, why mobile first? What is the driver? Because again, it's just me, huh? So but I tend to think like Netflix at home is more like on your sofa in your pajamas and looking at your tablet or computer. So why mobile first?
Yeah, I was thinking on the customers that have the option to project the content to their smart TV or with any like Chromecast, and also because of the pairing. If we don't start this way, we wanted to do it with the QR code, and if it was on the TV, then a lot of devices will be involved. Also, one of the feedback that Adriano told me during the mockups was that putting the email or trying to pair when you're on your smart TV, it's harder, like putting your contact details. So the easiest way to check if pairing was good was with mobile.
No, that's super fair. Thank you. And I think that's all for me. So as I say, like overall, I was amazed with like the presentation and all the effort that were done. So great work. And then I will leave the floor to anyone else that want to provide feedback.
Thank you.
I can go now then. Okay, so really well done again. Actually, Edu already said lots of my comments that I hear, but really well done on the research part. I think that was very interesting, understanding more about the market share, and that's also very important, because it can give you you can get an overview of how much actually you are losing as a company, and then you can earn with your new product. So really well done on that. I really like the way you were presenting the hypotheses, but also like how you would validate them. That was also very cool. There were some things that I liked on when you're explaining the prototype, like you say that if a user doesn't have an account, we can give an account to him for 2 months for free. That's a real cool value proposition for acquiring new people. The only thing that I thought when I saw that is that, okay, so maybe I want to share my product or my Netflix with a person that is new. There will be no much content to mix and match. So maybe that's a scenario that you need to cover in case one person has Netflix and then the other doesn't, then how the system would create this match on what to watch. But still really cool. That's just another scenario to think on the future. I like that you took also the feedback that we spoke. It's really difficult to put emails on the TV. Taking in consideration that you can use the device for doing that type of interaction, but that can also reflect still on the TV. Okay, so it doesn't matter much the device that you do the action, that still can be reflected on whatever you're logging in the Netflix on your TV. So it's not a problem to, and you don't need to be only mobile specific in that case, for example. But really, really well done. And I think also that the KPIs are also very well defined. And also, I see maybe an opportunity for your product also for people thinking, people that are not actually together, but they share Netflix, meaning maybe your partner is traveling or you are apart because of COVID or whatever, any restriction, it can happen. Then that also maybe it will be a user that you want. And then in that case, think also like how we could share without depending of a person is carrying the QR code. What are the other alternatives that I can do for those? But overall, super, super well done. So congrats.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, congratulations, Maria. I really enjoyed the presentation. It was super engaging. It was really interesting. So I learned a lot. So thank you. I really enjoy especially the research because I think that this is a key element that makes you really go into the right direction or not. So I think that that was really, really well done. So congrats on this. Also, it looked like a very new idea on a market that it's growing a lot. So I thought it was really cool. So I hope that you send your CV to Netflix or the competitors. And in the tips, maybe at the beginning, it took me a while to understand what was mix and watch. So I understood it later, but it was a lot of information without really understanding what were you going to do. So maybe if you can give a little bit more of information earlier, because at the beginning I was like, well, what's the difference with me creating an account, a new account together with my partner or etc. But then I saw the value, but it took me some time in the middle of the presentation. And then I will say, be careful with magic numbers, like why 20%, why 15%, will be unsuccessful at 15%. So unless you can explain why you are picking at 20%, probably you can say based on other features that have been similar, we expect at 20%, but maybe a 19% is not a failure. So be careful a little bit with numbers that we don't understand maybe why you're picking 20 or 15. And then I think that an important use case that maybe was not covered that can have an opportunity is about privacy. So if I share my account with somebody else, do I want them to know everything that I'm watching? Probably not. So how you are dealing with that use case could be interesting. And then I loved the marketing, but then I thought, depends on your goals, you might want to go into advertising because advertising is really expensive. It's your goal to get new users or to get existing users more engaged. If it's the second, maybe you don't need to spend that much money. And with good UX and good flows, you are already covering it. So yeah, something that if you were going to do the financials later, that will be an space that how much you want to spend on this.
That's true. Thank you. Thank you for your feedback.
But really impressive, Maria? So
thanks.
Anyone want to add anything else? If not, I think Anna, it's your turn.
Okay, the bar is high now. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so welcome everyone on our Vivino stakeholders meeting. I would like to have this 5-10 minutes to explain you a little bit about the feature that we are thinking of adding to our product. And I would like to first talk a little bit about the current situation for Vivino and the current situation for the whole industry, and then present you a few users and user personas, And the solution the feature that we are thinking of adding, and the outcome or the success of this. Okay, so how does it look like for Vivino? So just a quick recap of our data, of Vivino data. So we are the largest online marketplace. We are still have the largest inventory of wine in the world. The latest data is that in our database, we have over 12 million different wines coming from almost 230,000 wineries, over 45 million active users, and 60 million reviews. So the situation is actually pretty good. We have a real stable situation in the market. Even with the COVID pandemic, we didn't, as we are a e-commerce and an online marketplace, it didn't impact us as much. But obviously there was an impact on the industry, on the wine industry itself, and that's also our main partners. So there were a lot of reports that were done talking about the wine industry during the time of pandemics, seeing how small wineries are coping during this period, how different countries or different regions are dealing with this, and how the wine industry itself suffered quite a lot, and different countries had to respond to the virus. So if we want to recap a little bit all the data discovered during this surveys, things that are obviously repeated is the negative impact of the COVID pandemic, events being cancelled, sales dropping, slower rate of production, obviously unemployment and was also affected, and there were some additional new expenses that wineries had to make. Apart from that, there's also like a positive or optimistic maybe way of seeing things. So obviously, not only wineries, the whole different industries and the whole business was impacted, and now needs to adapt and be more flexible, because that will have a permanent impact on the way the business is done. There's need to do more like a direct-to-consumer model, and for new approaches that are more closer to the customers. So a little bit changing from this maybe traditional way of doing things, and also the change or the need to change into more direct-to-consumer model, or the importance of I don't know, slow life or 0 kilometer movement. Obviously, it's not new; it was already existed before COVID, but the pandemic sort of accelerated this thing, and that will have, as I said, the impact forever on the wine industry. So, as we said, we are one of the biggest, if not the biggest, and the most downloaded wine app in the world. Our data that I showed in the beginning showed that this part, so this sort of matching users with the app, with Vivino and wine, is working fine. However, there is this partner, or this thing that is maybe missing a little bit, which is sort of introducing the wineries to the whole business model. And this is the part of the market or opportunity maybe that we are not exploring enough, that we are not reaching enough yet. So the idea with is to help wine lovers connect with local wineries, boosting local economy and tourism. So let me introduce you to three personas, three people that use Vivino or might use Vivino. So Wine is the professional, Kate, she's the sommelier. And so she knows the market very well, but she's also, because of that, because of knowing how many wines exist, how many wineries exist, she's sort of overwhelmed with the amount of information. She's pressured by her boss to look for maybe uncommon wines so that they can introduce them to the menu in the restaurant. So she actually goes to visit different places, and she has to create her own tool or her own Excel to sort of track these places to visit. And there's Juan. Juan is a lawyer. He's quite a rich person, and he's very interested in buying good quality products. He's a cyclist, and he actually he lives in Girona, and he likes to cycle around, discovering new places and maybe making some stops with his friends or family at the wineries. He really likes to plan and prepare his bike routes. So he always likes to go to some local, smaller places, but he doesn't really have time to look for wineries themselves. It's not really his main point. And then Mia is the conscious consumer. So she's very engaged into 0 kilometer movement and being more conscious. So she thinks that we need to promote local products, especially also due to COVID or after COVID pandemic, that there is a need to promote local producers. And then she also actually is an activist and writes a blog where she presents all the products. And she would like to have more transparency about wine, about the wine industry. Where do these products that she uses or buys come from? So the idea is to create a feature, Vivino, for these wine lovers who struggle to find local places to visit, that will recommend them these places based on their preferences and their own location, and helping to boost local economy, helping wineries expose them to the market. And so, as we said, the app, our app is doing great. The numbers show it. We also know from feedback and many people that the app is very complex. It's very well elaborated. Our users can scan the label, can review, can read the reviews, can rate, can even follow their friends, or can buy wine on our app. And actually, as I said, there is this part that we are really still not exploring, which is the winery profile, because nowadays that's how it looks like, which is basically just a very short text story to tell the place and the wines they produce. So this is the opportunity for us to look for to add this feature to the existing product. So the idea is that the same way the users, for example, tracks the wine order profile or rates them or adds to the wish list, we will actually be able to track the wineries, add them to the planners, and track them. And then the same way, for example, we showed the particular type of wine for the user. The idea would be that with the data we have, with all the statistics that are available, we could be able to recommend the wineries based on their preferences and based on their location. So obviously there will be a part of where will be the information of the wineries themselves, some description. The idea was also to add some sort of a voucher or a discount system to like work on this relationship between Vivino and wineries. So for example, the users people that visit the winery, after that they can buy the wine on our app with some sort of discount or some sort of voucher, that in this case we will maintain this relationship with wineries for longer. And of course, looking by location and searching on a map. Yeah, so this is the system we have now, which is working great, which is the shopping experience. So the idea would be sort of based on what we have, add additional feature to the existing and the voucher and the discounts to the existing product. And before talking about the final outcome, I would like to just stop a little bit and talk about the competitors. And I'm not going to go into details about general competitors for Vivino because there are some of them, but well, so far we've been doing great, and we are the biggest app that is downloaded. Also, these are the competitors we already know, and we already worked on this. And I would try to focus a little bit on the idea of searching the wineries. So there are just a few examples like Napa Valley Winery Finder or Wineries of Spain. But actually, first of all, as you see, they are limited to specific region or countries, whereas Vivino is an app that is used all over the world. And we have ability to track wineries from all the places. And also, these companies are mostly based on the search. However, our idea is not only giving the user opportunity to search for wineries, but also to track, to save, to get recommendations, etc. And actually, probably the best app, which was Winery Passport in the US, actually shut down this year. And so I would like to finish with the expected outcome for users, wineries, and Vivino. So obviously, for users, option to get recommendations based on their preferences or location, option to track. The same way that they are able to track or save wines, the option to track wineries, get the information, the map, and I said the discount that they can receive. For wineries, especially for the smaller one, is an option to expose to the market, to have their place inside Vivino, to attract tourists, to have this, coming back to the beginning of the presentation, have this more closer to the customer strategy, and also potentially increase the sales of wine. And all of this will lead to some positive success for us, for Vivino. The idea is obviously the users acquisition and retention and the increase of sales of wine, thanks to this, maintaining the relationship with wineries with vouchers or discounts. And obviously, as I said, it's a market opportunity that we haven't really discovered yet. And since the situation our situation is very stable, it would be a good option to discover this so that we do not lose this opportunity. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you liked it.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So I'm going to provide quickly my feedback. So I really like the intro and the situation. I think it really was super clear and really made us understand like the problem. I think also we could see that you really have like a strategical background because you were like a Vivino stakeholder like meeting, and I think it was very credible that this type of presentation you could have like presented to see, okay, this is the situation and this is what we need to address, and this is what I think is the solution. So I think that was great. One or maybe like two things that I think could have been improved is you did mention like, so the winery is not explored enough, but you didn't really sell it to me of why do you think it's a market we need to explore? You know, it was not very clear at the beginning where we say like, okay, there is this winery and we haven't explored it and we should do it. I'm like, why do you think it's a good market? Why do you think there is a opportunity there? And even more at the end, when you linked it to, you know, like this app, you say it's the best app and then it closed. So I'm even more questioning then, okay, so it was not clear at the beginning and now at the end you say like, someone who tried the same. So maybe they didn't execute like clearly, but it's something that, yeah, I will be interesting to know. Why do you think it's something that you need to address, and why do you think it's a big potential market?
Well, yeah. First of all, I think it's a big potential market for Vivino in the sense that that these are the opportunity to get more into the field or more into the market, and sorry, and also the opportunity for the wineries themselves, because well, maybe I should go more into details for like smaller wineries and explain how they actually struggle with having clients or having, you know, being able to expose and to show them their products. So I think I should have maybe shown both from Vivino and the winery side what are their pain points or what are the problems.
Okay, and then the only other thing that I might be questioning is when you mention like voucher. So again, I think it's personal, but for me, it might make sense. Like, okay, you offer a voucher for them to visit the winery because they want to attract people to this winery. But I don't see it when you say like, okay, once they visited, then you can have a voucher in order to buy our thing online, because I think about like Groupon or something like that, the first thing it's hard for them is to attract, so that's why they're using voucher. But once they meet the customer, they want to do nothing with Groupon and they just want to lock you down. So I will see it difficult to sell it to wineries, to say like, okay, we'll attract people, and then instead of selling them directly, they will use Vivino, you know? So this, it's not super clear on my side of who will take the cost of those voucher and how you will sell it to a winery that, yes, instead of doing it, maybe if it's you easy it, maybe you take care of stock, or I don't know, but really, usually I will think that a small winery will prefer to do it straight after the visit and say like, this is my card, every time you need, we will send it to you, and we don't have to pay like an intermediary. And finally, I think the only other thing is, as I mentioned, I really like the situation. I really like your strategic background and the vision. And I would maybe have liked a bit more into the like task and really of how you will have implemented the app and getting more into details about that. I think like if we look at the entire presentation, there was more weight put into like the situation than to the actual like app or features that will be created.
Okay.
So I will give the floor to Adriano.
Thank you. Well, first of all, well done. I just have a few points. I think that the research was really well done. I like also how you explain the research, and it makes it easier for us to digest. When you highlighted some key points of an article that you were showing, that was really nice, because then you focus only on the things that really matter for our audience. So really well done. Again, I also agree with Edu. I think that the wineries are there, but then the opportunity exactly was not so clear. I like that you were working on something on top of something that is very solid and it's already there, because sometimes in our work, we're going to have to do incremental changes in a product that already exists, right? So you have to follow the patterns that are in there. You have to look at what this app has and what it can be improved. So you look at the winery page and what else can be done in there. So really well done on that. Also, I like the benchmark. I also have the same comment at the end of when you commented that this company is not in the market anymore. I also thought to myself, okay, but why not? Then why the app that you are creating, the service that you're creating is different, it won't be out of the market after. But super cool. Also like that in the analysis of the competition, you put the weaknesses and the strength is really good to highlight that. maybe you could have taken those weaknesses in benefit of your presentation by saying, though you don't cover these areas, and then my product now is cover those areas, for example. And then I also have some doubts on the monetization part. So it's the same thing, is related to what Edo was saying. Nowadays basically you can buy from the app and you can buy from Amazon or whatever it is they store. If you're going to the winery, then you might lose that. But then another opportunity, market opportunity for you can be also monetizing directly with the wineries actually. So why not offer experiences of wineries through Vivino, and then you find another way of monetization that doesn't depend only on the sales of wines through vouchers or whatever. So actually it opens a whole new market opportunity for you that is not exactly directly with the consumer, but really, really well done. That was my comment only.
Thank you.
Hi, Anna. Thank you for the presentation. I think that there was a lot of great research and it was really interesting. So I will try not to repeat what Diego and Adriano said. So I think that the piece that maybe I will advise will be that the research was really interesting, but there was a lot of information, and I was thinking how this relates to the product, because the relationship between COVID and then offering something that it's touristic, which might be not fully aligned with COVID, I was missing a little bit the point. So maybe starting with what is your hypothesis and how you are going to test it could help on this. And then probably because you want to do or address a lot of needs, which is really great, but what are your priorities? How you want to focus? Because you might want to do an MVP first and then test it and then go beyond that. But you were trying to address many needs, and that could make this or maybe have a strategy on how you want to arrive there and how it's going to be your steps till there, so that we can understand, okay, we are not investing 1 year in doing all this and then not understanding what is the part that the customers enjoy the most. So I will maybe look a little bit on this space, and also +1 on how you integrate later this product with the current experience. But I think that this is really interesting, and I will be a customer probably. So.
Okay, amazing. Yes, thank you. Let us know if you manage to to pitch it so we can start using it.
Yeah, during the presentation, by the way, I just downloaded the app. So.
I will be an angel investor. Huh?
And then last but not least, I think it's Carolina.
Yay. All right, let me share my screen. All right, let me just take that out of the way. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can.
All right, everybody. My name is Carolina. Thank you for joining me for this presentation of a new product called the Boomers Circle. During this presentation, we'll go over a little bit about the background, the problem we're trying to tackle, the personas, a little bit of market research, and we'll look at our solution as well as success metrics. So I would like to start with this sentence. Accept certain inalienable truths. Prices will rise, politicians will philander, you too will get old. So this is part of a very famous song from the 90s by Baz Luhrmann called Everybody's Free to Wear Sunscreen. So, sorry, let me just take this out quickly. Sorry, everybody's free to wear sunscreen, right? I was saying. So if you think about it for a moment, you too will get old, right? So let this sink in and just think about it. All of us are going to get old, right? No matter your generation, no matter your nationality, your background, is just a fact of life. And the truth is, it should actually be celebrated, because if you're getting older, it means you're living longer. So that's actually a good thing, right? And think of yourselves in the future. You would also want to have fulfilled, enjoyable lives as you mature. And that brings us to our focus group, the baby boomers. So let's talk a little bit about this generation. They're the ones born between 1946 and 1964. According to, just to give you a more specific idea of the age, basically they're currently between 56 and 74 years of age. And to be true, they feel as young and full of life as their children, right? So things have changed, and the life expectancy today, according to the World Health Organization, is 72.5 years of age on average, which is 20 more years than in 1960. And also, according to the World Health Organization, by 2050, the total population of the world over 60 will have doubled. So there's plenty of people getting into older generations at this point. So what are we talking about here is the opportunity to tap into the silver economy. So what is the silver economy? Basically, it includes all the services and products that are geared towards those that are 50 and over. There's quite a few characteristics that are important here. So the first one is they have high purchasing power. Researchers show that actually today, in general, for online transactions, baby boomers are the ones spending most money online currently. Also, those that have already have already retired, have 11 more times wealth than millennials. So as you can see, it's a lot of money on the table. Also, they have more free time and they like to spend it doing what they've always, wanted to do, like going on trips and cultural activities and enjoying, their free time with their friends. Also, they're active and they like to take care of themselves, eat well, play sports. They're also loyal to their brands. And very importantly, they require personalized products and services. Researchers also indicate that if a company doesn't treat well their customers, baby boomers will not trust that brand. So for them, it is a personal thing. So another one that's very important about them, and it's contrary to stereotypes, is that they are tech savvy. So on average, baby boomers spend about 5 hours a day on their smartphone, and that's just a mere half an hour more than millennials. They also use social media daily, and 84% of them report that it's likely to improve their lives. So what is the problem that we're talking about here? What happens with the baby boomers is that they come from a generation that's more traditional about having met their friends and, having met people and make new friends through, social contacts, relatives, neighborhood, their work and school. But as life progresses, we have a few circumstances that change. So of course, we have divorce, we have unfortunate situations where their spouses may have passed away. And unlike their parents, baby boomers are actually one of the generations that had fewer children and of course had more divorces as well. So those things kind of tap into the fact that a lot of them are now living by themselves and they're alone. Another characteristic of this generation is that and this is general actually, as life progresses, there's changes in geography and lifestyle. So people might have moved away, or you have, or perhaps because of your economic circumstances, your habits or your hobbies have changed. And recently we have noticed that even politics can sometimes get in the way of friendships. So the question is, how do they meet new people and make new friends now? According to the Stanford Center for Longevity, for baby boomers, when they are tapping into their passions and hobbies and they meet people that way, this is how they feel more comfortable making new friends. For them as well, it's very important to have a deeper connection and less superficial relationships. However, according to the very same study, of all the generations, baby boomers are the ones showing most signs of disengaging from traditional modes of relationship and social connections. So what is the challenge that we're dealing with here? At their age, how can they meet new people with them around the same age with similar interests on a more personal level? But first, let's meet our personas. I'll start with Mary. She is 65, she's married, very social, open-minded, all about life experiences. As life went by, her circle of friends was reduced, and she would love to maybe meet another couple that can join her and her husband for dinners and trips abroad, and trips in general, sorry. Then we have Harry, he's 72, he's a widower, very sporty, high energy, motivated by challenges. He's in good health and he likes to go on bike trails. Sometimes he does it alone, but he'd rather have a buddy with him, someone around his age, so there's no differences in the physical aspect of it, like younger people would be, a little more active and had a different rhythm than he does. Then you also have Teresa, she's 58, more of an introvert, very refined taste, quality versus quantity mindset, including for friendships. The thing with Teresa is that she's recently divorced and her ex-husband was her first boyfriend. So that means her circle of friends is quite limited. She would like to meet other people out of that circle. She loves art. She doesn't like going out alone. So she would like to have somebody to come along with her to those events. So you might be thinking, but there are solutions already out there. But are they really solving our personas' pain points though? Let's take a look at some examples. Everybody knows Meetup, right? Yes, it's a platform that's used to organize online groups based on similar interests that host in-person events, but they're open for all age groups. And then you might say, yes, but they can do groups for baby boomers as well. However, those are for group activities. There's not really an individual connection there. Then we have Stitch, which is a social community platform for people over 50. It is divided into romantic and non-romantic connections, and it's a sense of community in general. So they have articles, online discussions. They do organize local events and trips, but they are there for people all over the world. So you could be here in Barcelona chatting with someone in Alaska. That's great, but how do you move that offline, Then you also have dating apps and websites. So those are the famous ones. Tinder and OkCupid, for example, would be your traditional ones, but of course open to all age groups. And then 50 more and Senior Meet Me, which are more, for example, the ones for older age. However, what is the problem with all of these? Their focus is definitely on facilitating romantic connections, which is not necessarily our persona's focus or intention. So is there a market niche for us then? How about a solution that combines Meetup and Stitch's suggestions of activities to do with people with similar interests with a model of the one-on-one connection that the dating apps have? So I introduce to you the Boomer Circle. The time is now. Have plans but have no company? Want to do something fun but have no plans? Join the Boomer Circle, an app designed to connect baby boomers on a personal level through activities they can enjoy together. Let's take a look at the app a little bit. So these are the wireframes. To start, a new user would go through an onboard process, but once they have signed up, this is how the landing page would look. Basically, they can share their plans this way, or they can use the filters to explore other people's plans. And once they do, they will then see the activities, basically just an overview. They can access the user information this way. They can mark whatever they prefer to go back to later, or if they click on it, they will come and see the details with the description. From here, they can contact the user directly, or they can get in touch through a private message system. And if they want to see the profile of the person, this is how it looks. It has a small bio as well as their main interests. Then you can see also the activities that they have posted. And if this is your version of the profile, you can go ahead and edit it or go through settings. At the bottom, you also have access to your inbox and your plans. If you click to see your plans, you can see the ones you have posted and you can adjust them accordingly or see the people that have mentioned they want to join you. Or you can also go to selected plans and see the ones that you have selected. If you go into the picture, then you would see all the details as well. So this is an overview of the app. And how about our success metrics? So as this is a brand new app, we want to make sure that we track the very first things first, which are acquisition and activation. So we would start with downloads and sign up completion, and also check the download attribution. Make sure that we are putting our efforts on marketing that make most sense moving forward. So for the first 3 months, we would check what is working best. We know that for baby boomers, of course, the traditional methods of magazines, for example, newspapers, are still quite strong, but they're big, heavy users of Facebook and YouTube. So we can definitely use those channels as well to reach them. And then also email is another form of marketing that works a lot with baby boomers. So we would work on those and see what's working best so that moving forward, we focus on those. Another success metric we want to look into is our retention through customer retention rate, of course, as well as the App Store reviews for our Net Promoter Score. And we also want to keep track of customer service tickets. Being a brand new app, we want to make sure we can correct any bugs or issues. Last but not least, our engagement is very important. So daily active users, monthly active users, as well as the stickiness to see within the first quarter how many people are staying with us and how things are going. And one more thing is, because we highly value customer input, we want to make sure we do a survey post-activity to check on satisfaction, because we see this is an opportunity for them to tell us how they like the experience, how likely they are to do it again, and to also suggest improvements or any other comments that they have. because for us, we really want to make sure that this app will have a meaningful impact on their lives. To conclude, I would like to leave you with two quotes from two fabulous baby boomers. So Oprah once said, "The way I see it, every year can be a brand new journey." Think about it. You get one chance to be 25, 38, 44, 61, and every age before in between. Why wouldn't you want to experience all the wonder in each step on your path? And according to Helen Mirren, your 40s are good, your 50s are great, your 60s are fab, and 70 is freaking awesome. Thank you very much. Can you hear my heart pounding?
No, we did not, but it was amazing. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
I will provide some of my feedback, like I'll always. I really love the background data. So you provided like so much data. It really showcased that you have a good understanding of the market and that did your research. You were also very good, thanks to this data, making clear that this is a good market to target. So why should we care? And why do you think like there is a potential? So that was very clear for me. You seem like very convincing and like also passionate. So this is something that I liked. And as you really, like you are smiling or laughing, but you could really see the difference from the first time where we did the exercise and now, so that's amazing. Few things in your persona, maybe I will have liked something a bit more like concrete, maybe a quote or something that will make the person a bit more like relatable, because it seems almost more like a target market stuff. But then I love the mock-up, like the wireframe. I think that was very good. And finally, one thing that I'm not sure is like for the net promoter score, you put it in retention, and I will say like usually I will think it's more into like referral categories, because normally it's a question like how will you refer this to a friend or a colleague? So I might put it in another category. And I think that's it for me, but like the presentation, like again, like the flow was very good, like a lot of data. So like very good at making your points. And again, I really like to see that you were much more confident than when we did it and much more convincing. So that was great to see the evolution as well.
Thank you.
Adriano?
Okay, so Carolina, really well done. I think again, very well structured. Love the quotes around the presentation that really breaks the common slide after slide and product after product, and talking about some information by bringing some spark to the presentation. So I really like that. I really liked also the research part. I will just give you a tip, because you mentioned so much information of your research that was not in the slides, that can be difficult to track. So if you wanna put lots of information, slide, maybe with just a few highlights of what you're also explaining in the background, that can help people to follow through the thinking that you're giving. Again, I think the wireframes are nice. I already saw them before, and we had a conversation about it. One thing that I think you can consider for a product, it is, okay, you're targeting baby boomers, and you're targeting baby boomers that are using smartphone. So for this type of profile, it's really important to understand what is the smartphone that they usually do, which is the platform that they usually do, what are the maybe accessibility issues that I might have because of the people that are older using those types of. So it's really good to dive in on the research side of what are the technology that these people are using and what are the models of phones that they are using, so on and so forth. Also, it can be something that goes beyond the smartphone, and you can also bring maybe to the desktop if they are so more willing to use the desktop or etc. But overall, super well done. I think for the wireframes, you could see how we work as well. And then my feedback is just that if it is for this target group, like let's make it as simpler as we can. But really well done.
Thank you.
Cool, thank you, Carolina. I think your communication skills are great. So the presentation was really good, very engaging. Yeah, I was really hooked the whole time. So really, really well done. Very great research. So I think that was really good. And what I will add probably are a few things. It's how are you going to get people adopting your product? Because that is the main issue for social apps. And this is something that if I was going to invest in your product, I would love to know your strategy, because that's going to be really the key thing for you. And then the other one will be monetization. So how are you going to make money? And the third one is, if you choose Boomer Circle as a name, in 20 years, are you going to survive? So it's good that it's your target, but then you need to think about long-term viability as well. So maybe I will choose a different name, or find a way to integrate the next generation later. So as people get older, how you are going to get them in. But for the rest, I think it's great. I will check on these 3 points.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Problems.
So I think like some people just joined, so I will just do a small recap that I've done at the beginning. So just to remind that this was the final presentation of an 11-week course. They presented like product from scratch, and as you see, like all the presentation were amazing. So this is kind of very impressive. Like the bootcamp for the people who are not familiar, like the PM bootcamp at CodeOp, so an international coding school for women, trans, and gender non-conforming folks. So I was, my name is Eduardo, like unlike Zoom say, and we have amazing teacher as well that I would like to thank. So the one who participated, Adriano, Paola, Noah. So that's part of the course. So yes, I think everyone, we can agree that was a very successful session. So thank you so much for everyone within the course, teachers like students, and also Katrina, which I would love for you to send the goodbye notes. So I don't know how you say, like the closing notes of this great session.
Yeah, I mean, maybe before we close, we can open it up to the others if they have any questions for the presenters. I'm kicking myself in the butt now because I have this, long list of notes from all the presenters, and I have to jog my memory, and it's 9 o'clock. So I will do my best, and maybe it's mostly comments, and the questions that I had can be rhetorical. I'll begin with Martha. So this area of health, specifically psych apps, is a really rich area in the investment world. Like there was just an article published in TechCrunch, billions of dollars being invested in this area. And you have special domain knowledge, and it really showed through your presentation. I had questions similar to Paola around the market research and competitor analysis. And finally, about how you would monetize this, right? I think overall I was missing like quantitative information from all the presentations. And I'm saying this from a place in which I've been pitching, right? So as a founder of a company, pitching right now to investors and VCs, corporate investors, angels, to get 3 million euros from these people. I've been investing CodeOp. And so I've been thinking about a lot of the things that come up in this time, and certainly the financial metrics are quite key. And it's tricky, right? So anyways, this was just one question I had. Maria, such a problem that I completely relate to. I don't know how many times I've signed up and then canceled my membership with Netflix because it becomes such an inefficient process. My partner and I are debating what to watch, and then we just get rid of it. Really strong presentation skills, especially around the problem. I think for you all, I encourage you to watch founders pitching their startups. I think you'll be really impressed with yourself because, in my opinion, you're all operating at that level in these presentations today, 100%. I just watched pitches like 2 days ago because I was getting ready for a big pitch and I wanted some sort of baseline to assess myself. And I was like, okay, I think I'm all right. But really, really strong presentations. I like the qualitative research that you incorporated into your presentation. I had this question about baseline metrics because you were talking, and Paula also brought this up, this conversion rate of 15%. So I had this question of where did you get that number? So that's an important thing to include, certainly. When I was first pitching CodeOp to investors in the seed round, one of the, the majority of whom were men, one of the investors asked me, a French investor, I remember like it was yesterday. He said, did you ever think that there's not really any all-women coding school because women don't want to learn how to code? Right? Like, and it's a fair question, huh? Like, I try, like, okay, fine. Fine. Like, maybe this product doesn't exist because there's not really a need. Okay. And so my question for you, and this can be rhetorical, is why do you think Netflix doesn't offer this feature yet? Anna, you're always bringing in the wine, and I like wine a lot, so I appreciate this. I'm always super engaged in your presentations talking about wine. I really love the way you present. You have a very humanistic approach, which makes it really engaging for me. Your domain knowledge, I'm not calling you a wino, but your domain knowledge definitely shined through. I thought you had a really clever way of showing the problem, right? You had like this text, and it's true that there was kind of a lot of content. I agree with Adriano, or maybe it was Eduardo who had said this. There was a lot of content, and sometimes less is more to get a point across. But I thought it was a clever visualization of having this document and then circling these problems. I might steal that from you in the future. Again, yeah, like I think really honing in on why this is a problem and why it would be cool for us would have made it stronger. And then certainly in the outcomes, missing the quantitative info. Carolina, you're a natural presenter, obviously. My only feedback to you is to maybe slow down a little bit. If you slow down a little bit, I think you can connect more with us. I had one question in talking about your competitors, Eventbrite. Where does Eventbrite, I don't know why, we're using Eventbrite more than Meetup, so I was curious about that. And the biggest thing that stood out to me was your go-to-market strategy, right? Which Paula also brought up, as well as just how you would price something like this. This is the hard stuff that I had to deal with at CodeOp, but overall, like, I'm feeling really inspired by you all. I think, so this is a second cohort of a new bootcamp that we have. And it's really exciting to see the curriculum at work, coming to this point. So I'm super impressed. I think it reinforces my feeling that so many of the women attracted to CodeOp, be it to learn how to code, to make full stack applications, to do data analytics, there is this entrepreneurial quality within them. And now I've seen your evolution from, so all 4 of these students, people that don't have any previous context, took our full stack development course. So they're all developers. And then they went on to do this product management course. And so we've been working together for a while. Maybe 2021, we'll see in the data analytics bootcamp, I don't know. But I feel, I really think that there's something here for you all to pursue. Your own startups, really, you can build your own apps. You have a lot of good information now on how to build products. So I want to talk more about this because I think it's really exciting and actually creating a new product for CodeOp where we're like, creating all these, there's a constellation happening right now, and maybe that's a new product because our students are really inclined to just having this product-centric focus and development and wanting to build things for communities that they're a part of. I think it's really exciting. It's something I haven't seen. So big congrats to you all. I'm inspired. Thanks for that. It's the end of the year. No, we we need to feel inspired. Thanks to the instructors who will put a lot of care and effort into our students. It's certainly shined today. And I think that's it for me.
I don't know if anyone else wants to add something.
Yeah, thank you. I was inspired today and I really enjoyed all the presentations. Even if it's super late, you really awake me. So I'm now with more energy than when I started. So thank you. It's been it's been great also meeting all of you. And I was thinking about what you, Katrina, were saying. How can we have a virtual circle with incubators or something like that? Yeah, because I thought there were really good ideas today. So yeah.
Then if that's all for today, thank you so much for your time. And hope, like, yes, we will still have amazing things to hear from all of you.
Thanks to all. Also to the team.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, everyone.
Thank you to everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Evening.